Hey guys, Anthony here for Signal by Sony, a show about everything Sony makes. Right now we're going to give you a first look at the new line of Cyber-shots announced today. I'm joined now by Kate from the Sony Cyber-shot team. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
And this is the second half of the big announcement because you guys also announced a lot of cameras in January.
Yeah. We have about 15 cameras in the lineup, and about half of them were announced in January and the other half today.
Awesome, so let's jump right in.
Okay.
Let's start over here with these guys. Tell me about this camera.
Okay, this is the DSC-W690 and the DSC-W690.
Okay.
Both of them have a newly developed 10x ultra slim optical zoom lens. So just for comparison's sake, this camera here has a similar body to what the 10x optical zoom camera had last year.
Okay.
And this is the new version with this newly developed lens that allows us to have a much tinier camera.
That is way smaller.
Yeah.
We've got this 10 times optical zoom, obviously, and that's great. But what else is going on in here?
So on the 690, it's a 16 megapixel CCD sensor. It's got 720p HD video, sweet panorama, optical image stabilization. It's a great, basic camera.
Okay.
But if you are looking for a little more technology, we've got the WX150. So this is that same 10x optical zoom lens, but it adds our Exmor R CMOS sensor.
Okay, and what's the megapixel count on this guy?
This is 18 megapixel, and in a CMOS sensor, that's probably as high as you're gonna see out there, which is really neat. That high of a megapixel count is actually also allowing us to improve the image in low light, the quality of the image in low light. We're using some pixel creation technologies and image overlapping. Essentially, it's resulting in low light images with a lot less noise.
Very cool.
This camera also has dual record, so you can take 13.5 megapixel still images while taking video.
Okay, so you're actually taking a photo while you're taking video. It's not like
hit the shutter button.
Yeah, so in most cameras, that's usually like you go to hit photo and it turns into like a 1080 screenshot of your video.
Exactly.
So that's cool. So that's a full resolution picture. That's neat.
And then finally, I would say the other thing we're excited about in this camera and all the CMOS cameras that we'll talk about today is clear image zoom. It's a new type of digital zoom. Okay. And essentially, once you max out the optical zoom on the camera, it's going to automatically do it for you. It's going to switch over to clear image zoom. Okay.
So how does this differ from regular digital zoom? Because digital zoom has become kind of a nasty word in the camera world.
Exactly what we're trying to solve for here. So basically, digital zoom is just blowing up the image, essentially. So it's going to get grainy, you're going to lose a lot of detail, usually. What clear image zoom is doing is it's using a database, basically, of information, and it's matching pixels. So rather than just blowing up the image, as it blows up the image, it's looking at a pixel and then it's creating pixels around it.
Oh, cool. So it's actually drawing detail in based on what it's seeing.
So the image stays a lot more clear and clean.
Very cool. That's awesome. So when are we going to be able to see these two cameras, and how much are they going to go for?
So the W690 is $179. Okay. And the WX150 is $249. Both of these cameras will be available probably like middle of April.
Excellent. And I'm seeing some super little guys here.
Yeah, this is the T series. So these are our folded optics cameras. This is the TX20. What's exciting about this camera is it is waterproof, shockproof, dustproof, and freezeproof. So it's a durable camera that doesn't really look like a durable camera.
Yeah, definitely. Usually they have like a kind of like a rubberized or like a very thick appearance. This is nice. This is really small.
And it has a CMOS sensor, so it's going to give you dual record, full HD video, sweet panorama, 3D, a ton of features that come when you add that Exmor R CMOS sensor. This is a 16 megapixel Exmor R CMOS sensor and a 4x 25 millimeter lens.
Okay, cool. And then with the digital image, does this have the digital image zooming?
That clear image zoom, so up to 8x.
Very cool. And then this guy is even tinier.
Yes, that's about as small of a camera as I've ever seen.
Yeah, but, this is really small.
That is the TX66. Okay. That also has the Exmor R CMOS sensor, so it has all the technologies we've talked about.
Oh, and this one says it's an 18.
Yeah, that's 18 megapixel. Thank you for pointing that out. This also has high-speed autofocus, and essentially high-speed autofocus is going to achieve close to what you can get with an SLR. So in high-lit situations, it's going to be 0.1 seconds, and in low-light situations, 0.2.
So you don't get any of that, like, trying to get the shot like you get with most point and shoots that are this small. Yeah. So cool. So the trade-off here is this one is for people like me who will drop it into a pot of boiling water, and then this one is for the people who want the faster autofocus. Right.
Exactly.
Gotcha. And the more pocketability. Very cool. Tell me about SD cards in these guys, because this one's really small.
Yeah, so this is a regular SD or memory stick, and this is micro. The TX66 is micro, the TX20 is regular.
Very cool. And when are we going to see these guys, and how much are they going to run for?
So the TX20, the waterproof one, that's going to be $329, and it'll be available kind of same time frame, mid-April. Okay. And the TX66 will be $349, and that'll be available in March, actually.
Nice. All right, so moving on, we have some guys that are still very small, but a little heftier here. Looks like we've got kind of our more traditional feature wheel and everything as we're moving up.
So this is the H series, and that's our high zoom series. One thing that's interesting, as I'm sure you know, people are using their smartphones a lot to take pictures these days. Right. But this part of the market, long zoom, is actually growing. And I think, we think it's because people, if they want to buy a point and shoot camera, they want it to do something materially different than what their phone does. Definitely. So that can be optical zoom, that can be a camera with the CMOS sensor that allows for, all this extra technology. So these cameras are long zoom cameras. Okay. So this, what used to be, as I mentioned, the 10x body is now 16x. Okay, wow. So this is a new lens as well. So 16x optical zoom lens. The one you're holding is the H90, so it's the entry into high zoom. So it's a CCD, 16 megapixel CCD sensor. Like I said, that 16x 24mm lens. It's got 720p HD video, sweet panorama, optical image stabilization. Again, our answer for a great entry-level long zoom camera.
Very cool. And so this is the entry-level version. And then if we grab this guy.
So again, kind of similar to what we talked about here, that's going to add the 18 megapixel CMOS sensor. Okay. So you're going to get all the new technologies we've talked about. Plus, this camera has improved image stabilization. All the CMOS cameras we've talked about here today do, but I wanted to talk about it when we got to long zoom because image stabilization is really going to kick in, especially when you're zooming out. When you're zoomed out at 16x or 20x, you can feel a little bit more shake.
Oh yeah, you can always see it in your viewfinder. Like if you even breathe, it's kind of like this.
Yeah, exactly. So what we're doing is we're combining traditional optical image stabilization and we're adding digital image stabilization.
You don't hear about digital and optical image stabilization being used at once. So this is cool. So this one is the 10V, and this one is the 90. And when are we going to see these?
Both of those will be available in March as well. Okay. Sorry. So this is the H90, so that's the CCD, 16 megapixel CCD. Then we've got the HX10V, that's the 18 megapixel CMOS, both with 16x. Then we have a version, the HX20V, that is a 20x version of this camera. So it's an 18 megapixel CMOS sensor with 20x optical zoom.
Wow, and what is the price on the three of these?
So the H90 is $249. The HX10V is $329. The HX20V is $399. And then one more I'll just throw in the mix.
Just why not? Why not? More cameras.
Yeah, the HX30V. So the HX30V is that 20x camera we don't have here with Wi-Fi.
Oh, cool. So how does that work?
So we actually looked into Wi-Fi a lot and how people wanted to use it. And there's been some Wi-Fi cameras out there, and the complaint was, I don't like the user interface on how to upload images. I'm so used to my phone, I want to upload via my phone. So what the camera does, our camera with Wi-Fi, is essentially just allows you to transfer the picture from the camera to your phone.
Okay, so we saw some of these phones at CES actually that have this kind of like Wi-Fi connection built in. So that's cool. So it sees the camera as a Wi-Fi network, and then you just upload to the folder.
Yeah, exactly. My phone's going to see the camera as a network. I just select the image I want and upload it. You just have to download the app on your phone, the first time. So it's a pretty good experience.
That's awesome. Yeah. So we've got one final camera here today, and this guy is a super serious looking dude. Yeah. This looks like the HX100V that I saw last year.
That is the replacement to the HX100V.
Well, then that would be why.
It's the same lens. It's the HX200V. Okay. 30x optical zoom, but what this camera is doing is it's adding a lot of the technologies we've talked about. So adding that clear image zoom up to 60x.
Wow.
So a lot of zoom going on in that camera. And then it's going to have the high-speed autofocus, the improved low-light performance, that advanced image stabilization. So sort of taking what was great with the HX100V and adding all the new technologies from this year.
Very cool. And when are we going to see this guy?
March as well.
March.
So all of these high zoom cameras we have here are all going to be available in March, and the two we don't have here, the 20X versions, those are available in May.
Cool. And what is the price on the HX200V going to be?
$479.
Awesome. It's a huge range of cameras here. Thank you so much for coming in and showing these to us. To see more Signal videos, you can head to sony.com/signal or youtube.com/signal, where you can leave us a comment or ask a question. This is Anthony signing off.